My personal bathroom. There are 3 rooms in the house. I had this one. My brother used this one as well, but there's another one outside in the laundry area, and there is a suite where my parents slept, and there's a bathroom in there. But this was mostly my for the entirety of the time when I lived here. I lived here for 20 something years. I lived in the United States as a child and as a teenager for a few years as well. I lived in New Zealand in 1995 and 1996, in Australia in 1997, 1998, and I went back in 90. So this is very familiar to me. A lot of people that knew my mom, they don't feel comfortable coming here to the apartment because she's not here, right? And I have the complete opposite feeling. I feel that she is here. It's not like a supernatural or anything. It's just that I feel that the love that she had for me and all the experiences that I lived here in the apartment with her and my brother and my dad. And we had exchange students from different parts of the world. We had Maya from New Zealand. She was the one that lived here the longest. She lived here for 1 year. She's like I don't want to say our favorite, but I want to say our favorite because she lived here for an entire year, and she changed our lives so very much because before she came here, I don't think that I envisioned myself going anywhere but the United States, right? I would have gone back to the States, which I did, but I never thought of any other. I knew there are other English-speaking countries, but she was the one that made us all think of a broader world. She taught us about Maori culture, taught us about New Zealand, differences between New Zealand and Australia. A lot of kids nowadays don't know the difference. I try to teach my students. A lot of them don't know the difference, which they should, but they don't know the difference. But I always knew the differences between New Zealand and other countries, the differences between New Zealand and Australia, which many people seem to just put together in one experience. They are two separate experiences. New Zealand is a completely different experience. Now it's confusing to people when I say it's different or it's but that's the truth. It's similar, but it is different. So yeah, people will never end. I went to the other bathroom to finish brushing my teeth. Not just because I didn't want to camera, but also because I'm trying to keep the entire apartment lived in. Yeah, because it's closed for a few months out of the year. And I know somebody actually left me a message. I don't know if it was here or TikTok. They left me a message and they're like, why don't you just let a homeless person live in your apartment while you're gone? It's not as simple as it sounds. We have a lot of, my entire life is in this apartment. All of my childhood memories, a lot of our assets and things that we can't just let us live here. So like, I would bring people like, I'm thinking about bringing Norwegian people that want to see Brazil, from a different perspective from what they see on TV. If you watch TV and you think of Brazil, you think of Rio de Janeiro, right? And there's much more to Brazil than Rio de Janeiro. So I would love to bring people to see Brazil from a different. Also, because people think of the poverty and all the unfortunate bits as tourism. And I think that going to a country and use poverty as entertainment is not a nice thing. So I would never sell anybody on that idea, but I would sell them on the idea of coming where somebody actually lives, how they actually live. And then instead of, yes, going to poverty stricken is a way of seeing how people actually live. However, it capitalizes on the misfortune of others. And that's something I can't get on board with at all. So yeah, this here used to be my brother's bedroom. And right now, it's so cute. Let me show. Okay, so this was actually his shoe. He wore this. I clean it, it's a little bit dusty. This is my dad's first communion poster. Everybody got one of those, like a placket kind of thing. And of course, that's my brother there. He loved Michael Jordan growing up. A lot of my brother's childhood stuff and stuff from his, he had a bistro that closed down during the pandemic. So a lot of the stuff is here still. He can keep the stuff here for as long as he wants. I have zero urgency. It's not urgent for him. He doesn't move anything. This is where some of my mom says I gave some of them away, but there's still a lot here. She loved hats. I got her this in 1991. She bought on a trip to the United States, one of the many ones. They had a house in Fort Lauderdale where they stayed, and they lived there a few months out of the year. And she wore that to my dad's funeral, and I wore that to her Requiem Mass. My room is the messiest of all. It's always going to be like that because it's so me. So we threw out a lot of stuff, but there's still a lot of things here. For example, there are pictures in all of these boxes, and I want the pictures to stay that way until albums. These are all albums from our childhood, mine and my brother's, and also my trip to New Zealand when I lived there, my trip to the United States when I lived there, and the entire time when I was going to school in the States. And these are all the albums from our childhood as well. There are albums here, my brother's and mine, and all of this videotapes. I really need to watch them and find out what they are and then get them digitalized so that we can have everything that our memories, right? There are lots of them up there. So I haven't been sleeping here. Last time I stayed here, I slept here the last night or something, because this was my bedroom. And I cried many nights listening to music. I didn't have a huge bed like this when I lived here before, but my mom always kept this room so that nobody would sleep in here. Some people slept in here, like friends of hers and stuff, but mostly kept this place closed. For me, she was, oh my God, my mom was the best mom in the world. I miss her. But I'm doing what she wanted me to do. I'm enjoying what she left me, because she would have wanted me to. So it's almost like an obligation to enjoy it. This is her bedroom. She lived here the last few days of her life. There is, I absolutely love, she had full-length mirrors everywhere, which I love. And like I said before, it's a suite. So, yeah. I miss her. I'm gonna go to the bakery. Going to the bakery is a Brazilian ritual. Go to the bakery every day to get bread and to get stuff for snacks in the afternoon. It's a large apartment. I know people don't believe me. They think I'm like making this up, but I'm not. It's a large apartment. I'm thinking middle class family in Brazil. Compared to the Brazilian, this is enormous. And it's a really comfortable, lovely place to live in. My mom, I miss her so much. That's why I keep talking about her. That's my grandpa. I kind of want to throw it out, but I kind of want to leave it here because it's such a huge part of the apartment and the feel, the 90s feel that I get from living here. Anyway, so I fill that with pictures because my mom started doing it and never finished doing it. She passed away. She hadn't put all the pictures in it, so I did. She would have wanted me to do it. This is the kitchen. This is the original tile that came in the apartment. I will eventually do something about it, but as of now, I'm not ready to yet. There's another bedroom out here. And this is the laundry area. Okay. I need to leave soon. Go to the bakery. I'm gonna turn off the lights because I don't want it to be too hot in here. Not because of myself, I love the heat. But when people come to visit, and people are gonna come to visit sometime this week, I don't want it to be too hot for them. They have an air conditioning system in every bedroom and in the living room. So I've been sitting here, I've been watching TV, and I've been reading, and I was looking at this old English book from the 80s, how they taught English to native speakers in the USA. I myself experienced this living in the USA. And it's fascinating how my life was completely built around my parents' dedication for me. I say it's funny or it's interesting, but it's probably just normal. My dad was a tennis player. My niece is a tennis player now, but she's one of the biggest in the country in her category right now. So I am so in awe of her, and I am so proud of her. I'm proud of her. My dad was an engineer, which is very different from being an electrician or being a technician. And don't get me wrong, being a technician, that's fantastic, and a lot of money in places like the United States, and also in Norway they make a lot of money as electricians, but here in Brazil, you're better off as an engineer to make more money. So my dad was an engineer. The only time he ever wore a hard hat was when he went to see one of the stations that he had designed. He designed substations. He didn't build them. Other people built the substations. My dad designed them. So he had his own office. And I found this in his things, and I want to display it here just to think of him, engineer José Alberto. I miss him so very much. Oh my God, he was an amazing father. He was a marathon runner. Here's his hard hat. My mom was she was a model. She was a beauty, amazing. She did a carnival pageant, and that's where that picture comes from. And she was really beautiful. And I know that people are like, oh yeah, she had light skin and she had green eyes. That's not the only thing that makes a person beautiful. She had a fantastic personality. Her features of her face were beautiful. How her nose was shaped, how her lips were shaped, her high cheekbones, and her whole face. She was really pretty. She had an hourglass figure. She was really beautiful. And that has nothing to do with being light-skinned and having green eyes. Although colorism plays a huge part in how people would perceive us when we went someplace together, and people would be like, oh, what a shame that your daughter is so dark and she doesn't have green eyes. And it's like, I wasn't good enough as a person because of being dark skinned. I don't like that type of attitude. My mom always made sure that my brother and I felt like we were valuable human beings, like we were worthy, no matter what we looked like. It was more about having strength of character and being honest, being good people. And at the end of the day, that's what truly matters. I'm going to talk to my brother and see if I can get some more stuff thrown out. But I also want to keep a lot of my mom's things. So yeah.